Hello. Since October 7th, I have been leading with two realities at the same time. At home, I have an Israeli husband who had to face his country at war, and being far away from them, we were grieving. We didn't know the answers of the lives of certain people we knew. Some people were taken hostage. I was just a young mother with a 9-month-old baby, the same age as Kirby Bas. I felt deeply rooted and connected to them. At the same time, I was the principal of a high school for only 1 month. I had been in the organization for a while, shifting leadership and also losing 2 team members. And I'm leading in Amsterdam, a city with deep historic scars from the Shoah. So I found out that Jewish leadership today means holding fear, responsibility, and humanity at the same time. So my path into leadership wasn't born out of ambition. I never thought I'd be in this place. There was a gap. I jumped in because I took responsibility. To me, leadership is not leading from above. I believe in doing it together and shared with others. I think leadership today requires us to protect our communities while still preparing the next generation to engage with the world. So what did we do as a school when crisis hits your school? Not only on October 7th, but also after this weekend. We have to decide what to do tomorrow, opening a school in Amsterdam. So our first instinct as a school after October 7th was protection. But leadership must create structure when people feel overwhelmed. In the beginning, we closed our doors. We canceled excursions. We said we couldn't go out anymore, maybe not even in the breaks. I'm dealing with a team, for big part Jewish colleagues, but also non-Jewish colleagues. And there are things in this space that I never have to explain to you all. But to a non-Jewish person, dealing with unsafety was a bit of a crisis. And with the help of our funding, we could train the teachers, and we started a trauma-sensitive educational program. We started it this year, and we will continue working through that and helping our team see and guide them through the trauma that they see in our students. So leadership in crisis means creating structures that allow people to keep standing. There was something that we didn't prepare for, and that was the response of parents. The parents were also dealing with trauma and communicated through their trauma, which put a big strain on my team. Sometimes aggressively, sometimes with worrying, because the parents wanted to protect the children and wanted to control what they could. The reactions are completely understandable, but they were not always easy to work with for my team. And also, another question appeared. If we closed the doors to protect our children, how long can we close those doors? How long can we keep the gates closed? It seemed like a logical response because protection is also part of our Jewish communal history, not just only crisis. In the Netherlands, we have a pillar system, we used to have, where all the social structure, everybody had their own groups, their own churches or prayer houses, their own political parties, their own football clubs. And in the 70s, the pillar system went mostly down. The Jewish community in the Netherlands is still a bit of a pillar system. So my students call the Jewish high school of Maimonides a little bit of the bubble, because we didn't become a bubble after October 7th. In many ways, we've always been a part of a protective community. And that leads to the more important question, what kind of world are we preparing my students for? The real responsibility I feel, and it's the center of my leadership and the deepest dilemma that I face, is not only how to protect them today, but what kind of world are they entering? My students are from secular to Orthodox. They're also adolescents, so they're also a bit rebellious. And they both appreciate and question the bubble they live in. But they had to face an outside world that was really confronting. Protests at the universities where their friends, families, and maybe they want to study. The Maccabi riots in November 2024 happened during our test week. The children came to school to make a test while many of their parents had been awake at night, helping out, bringing supporters to safety. Some of my students even sneakily went to the match, even though they had a test the next day. We responded by offering extra chances for tests, because this is what you do. So, also, if we want to prepare them for the world beyond these walls, what to do? And as I prepared this talk, reality hit me. When I woke up at the Shabbat, where my son, who is not keeping Shabbat as strictly as I do, told me what happened. And again, I was confronted. Leadership is not having all the answers. It's taking responsibility together. Because adults do not always have the answers, and we cannot promise any certainty. We can only take responsibility. So our students are learning from us. And as I went to my synagogue this past Shabbat, walking into a street where extra police security was at the end of the street, I lifted up my daughter, while normally I let her walk. But I walked in and there was a bar mitzvah. I forgot about it. It was my own student. And the most beautiful thing that I encountered a former student who has taught this boy how to do his bar mitzvah. And that is what I saw, the future. One of my former students walked home with me, and we talked, as we always used to do. And that gave me the hope that I also saw today here. Because I see resilience, I see inspiration, and I want to thank everybody for the inspiration they gave. And I want to give the word to the next person who's going to speak, because after you introduce her, that is the next generation.